Hi everybody, how is everyone doing on this beautiful Tuesday evening? I am hoping everyone had a wonderful homeschool day. And today's topic is going to be on having an efficient homeschool day. So, I know with a lot of homeschool moms, timing is everything. Like the one moment you're unprepared, the whole entire homeschool routine, the whole day, the whole schedule, everything can be completely thrown off by us not being prepared. So hopefully you've watched my lesson planning video and you see how I lesson plan, a few months ahead of time, all the way down to the video to where I showed you how I prepare every week. So you know that I do the lesson planning like over the summer, I do for like 3 or 4 months. And then again during Christmas break, I lesson plan for 3 or 4 months. But still, every single week, I make some notes in my planner for what's going to be happening that week. I look over all the lessons, I make sure I have all my materials and supplies for all of the activities, and I also make sure if we're going to be watching a video, I have that video written down, the name, which streaming platform we're going to watch it on, and everything. Just because I do like to make sure we are 100% prepared. Well, there are other things that can go, I don't want to say go wrong, but there are other things, a little missteps, I like that word even better, missteps that can kind of throw our day off and is not, will cause us to not be as effective as what we really could be. And one of those things are, I don't want to call it busy work. But what I will say is when you need to work one-on-one with one of your kids, you must have a plan as to what the other children will be working on and what they will do. Hopefully something independent. So for instance, one of my kids is trying to work on, let's say, the distributive property, and he's really trying to grasp the concept, and for some reason he's having difficulties with it. So let's say that my younger kids are done with whatever they were supposed to be working on. Well, for me, I feel like, okay, if they've done all of their independent work, that would not be a good time for us to go into our reading lesson, because I like to work with the kids in their reading lessons. So what I would instead do, I would take the time, they can play one of our learning games, like something like Boggle Jr., because that is really heavy on phonics. We would do like a craft, one of those craft kits that I got from Oriental Trading. It's an all-in-one bag. It's one craft per bag. I got like a 12-pack of them. And there's like a simple craft that they can do by themselves. Like my 6-year-old girl, she did one by herself. So little things like that. There's art, there's paper, there's like all of these books and stuff behind me. Everything isn't within their reach that they can get by themselves. I make sure of that. I make sure that, well, in the other room we have the drawer with art paper in it. They can get that by themselves. They just have access to all of this stuff. It's a lot of learning things. Like I just got this big box of sentence strips. They can do something like that. We got magnetic letters and things. All of these books, picture books that they can look through. Because sometimes I can't plan or foresee when my kid might get hung up on a certain topic that they may need help on. I may think, oh, he can grasp this concept, but in reality, he may need a little bit extra help. So I always make sure my kids have extra things to do. Another thing, speaking of which, when I'm talking about things being accessible to my kids, I also make sure that, okay, we always have writing paper. They know where their writing paper is. So if their assignment causes them to use some writing paper, hey, they know it's right there in the drawer somewhere where everybody can access it. I have little totes and containers. Everything is within their reach. Everybody already has their own pencil boxes and things like that. And I also have community supplies that make it easy for the kids to access as well. So I think one thing I'm gonna do is I might take you guys on a little tour around the room to show you just where a lot of these things are, so that you may get some ideas on how you can kind of place things in certain areas so that everybody is not running around looking for this thing, looking for that thing, searching for this, searching for that, and you guys can just grab whatever materials you need even if it's something that just pops up in a lesson, and then go on about your business. So let me just turn the room around, and I'm going to show you guys everything where it's placed in our homeschool room to show you how we can have an easy and efficient homeschool day. Okay, so this is the homeschool room. It's been clean, but it's not clean the way that I'm gonna have it clean tonight later on, because usually right after school, I kind of like to chill. Today we had to go to Walmart, so there wasn't time for me to, vacuum, redo the boards and all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna show you first thing what it's gonna be like. So my kids, if you followed me before, they set their tables up here on the floor. They kind of just sit and chill out here. So every day I have written down on this board who does what. I have 2 second graders and 1 fourth grader. This is everything that everybody has to do for the day. Okay, and we have our dry erase markers. Well, they're supposed to be. And look, Kelsey, she did a beautiful portrait of herself, but I wouldn't have put it there to dry. I'll have to help her with that later. But anyway, look at this. See, this is exactly what I'm speaking of, that everything, the homeschool room hasn't been 100% organized and clean for the day. It's been clean where everybody picked their things up, but not just 100% organized. So anyway, dry erase markers, wood pencils, mechanical pencils, color pencils. We use these a lot for spelling, and skinny markers, fat markers, more fat markers. What are those Crayola super tips? And color pencils, hundreds of color pencils. And this is just extra stuff for me. My kids don't necessarily get into, but like if we're missing game pieces and stuff, I have things like that in here. I'll just show you. So these little brads, like we're gonna need this for health class. Next time we do health, we're gonna need those. And extra game pieces, spinners, and little things like that. Hungry Hippo, connect board pieces, and clothespin. They don't use the clothespins as much. That was like when they were in kindergarten. What else is in here? Dice, Viewmasters. So, little things. They don't erasers. Those are just a whole bunch of erasers right there. And that comes in handy too. So what they'll do is they'll come here, they'll see what's on the board, and they'll get all their books out. Speaking of books, the kids, they have different places where they keep their things. Like for instance, Jerry, he likes to use his backpack. Elijah and Kelsey, they utilize their book bins in their carts. So I'll kind of just show you what that looks like as well. So Jerry typically keeps his book backpack right here. It's there every day, and his laptop's usually over there charging up for the night. And then I got this, finally I got something at Target. It was only $35, and I'm glad that I got it, because our old book bin is being used for something else. And then the little fabric thingies, they were like full to the max. So Elijah and Kelsey, they keep their books here. So Elijah's probably the most organized. So look at here. He has all of his workbooks. Some stuff he used from last year, but he still keeps a lot of stuff in here. These are like his little notebooks for vocabulary, wordly wise, interactive notebooks, reference books, all that kind of stuff. He's got a coding book in all of his folders. So some of his classes may require him to use a notebook. Some of them we have handouts and we need a folder. So for instance, like if it's spelling time, he knows to get his spelling book, he'll get his spelling folder, and he'll get a notebook so that he can, practice his words if he needs to. The same goes for Miss Kelsey. Her things are down here as well. All of her stuff, books, her school books, her notebooks. But Elijah and Kelsey, I don't know, for some reason, I guess they saw these little bins here and they decided, oh, we're going to use these for our folders. I have absolutely no problem with it. They can use that. So this is just stuff that she uses on a daily basis as well. Jerry puts a lot of his personal readers. He's borrowing this one from Elijah. I might have to get him his own, because Elijah was like, well, that's my book. I don't know why he was acting like that about that book, but whatever. So these are his personal readers, his personal books, and of course, Juicy Drops. And Elijah, that's one of his folders. Elijah is the same thing. He knows this is where he needs to get his stuff, when it's time to do his work. So everybody knows where to get their things from. Okay. And then, like they have their carts. This is their backpacks. Like whenever we have an appointment or something, I typically say, we're not going to do homework. But now I see,
we are taking our books and stuff with us, because I just don't feel like my kids need an iPad or something whenever we go out to do things. So they will take their backpacks, and then like Elijah has his pencil box here. Typically we'll just have like a pencil, a small thing of crayons, you know, just little things like this. But when he's home, he's gonna use this big old box. He ain't taking this out, you know. But he knows when, if he needs to color, get up and get your crayons from there. Now it shows you a little bit about this bookcase here. I have some fun activity books here that the kids can do independently. These are a lot of our games. So it's lots of stuff that the kids can get themselves. Lots of art books and things like that. Lots of things that they can get themselves that they don't need my assistance in getting. This card here, we have a lot of our paper, like regular writing paper. Stickers, everybody keeps stickers in here. You know, just little things like that. And I also have a place for all of my stuff too, so that I'm not just rambling around trying to find something. I have a little desk thing where I have my pens, my markers, my highlighters, a place for my planner, you know, and just all the things like that. I also have a spot behind me just for all of my teacher manuals and my teacher books. And it just really, really helps that when you have all your stuff together, not just your kids, but your stuff as well, the day can go so much smoother. Like today, for instance, my kids' health, they needed to color out this little puppet that they're going to be using for a while for a few of their health units. So I was like, you know what, I'll let them color and decorate it, but they really need to laminate it so it can last a few lessons. I didn't have to scramble around, oh, where are my pouches? Where's my laminator? I already had that stuff together. So it just made things so much easier. And this is a lesson that I learned from my first year homeschooling. You know, my house setup was a lot differently. I did have things in 2 or 3 places in my old house, but here I have everything confined in this one space, with the exceptions of a few things, and it's totally fine. You know, like my paper, and then I have like some extra supplies that I really don't want the kids to get into at this moment. But for the most part, everything is contained in this room, and everybody knows where everything is. So it really cuts down like 5 minutes to find this, 3 minutes to find that, 2 minutes to find that. And what I like best about that is a lot of times, sometimes kids just totally lose interest or focus. I don't want to say lose interest, because that's totally different. They totally can lose focus when you're having to search for things. That's why I was speaking on before. You know, we've had a situation to where I wanted to find, what was it? I think a documentary about sharks, and there's so much stuff out there, and so many titles can be misleading. You think it's about sharks, but it's actually about something else, and it's not a good video. And after 2 or 3 videos, the kids are like, okay, Ma, and I can't even blame them, like, really, because that was on me. So to be efficient, you guys, you gotta make sure that your kids' spaces are set up properly. Everybody should have something. Like, even if you don't have a dedicated homeschool room, maybe let everybody have a whole just a basket. I remember my daughter's kindergarten year, she had an Easter basket that she kept all of her stuff in. You know, it's just something where everybody knows, this is mine, this is my stuff. Get them a cubby, or even if you don't have like a bookcase to put your storage bins in, just get them the storage bin. But I assure you, things are so much easier when everything is in one confined place. Even now, like before we got our stuff delivered here to our new house, I did go to Walmart and I got this little storage caddy with different stuff inside of it. And my kids got so used to using it, even though they have their own pencils and markers and crayons, they still like, oh, put that in the middle of the floor, and I'm okay, whatever. But it has everything in it that they need. So, you know, again, you know, I've made mention before about start times. Make sure you're starting at a good time, because when my day is thrown off, it is thrown off. It don't have nothing to do with the kids, it's all me. So I need to make sure breakfast is gonna be ready 7:45, 7:50. My kids need to be eating breakfast at 8 o'clock. Because for me, I feel like we're moving backwards if my kids are brushing their teeth and all that, and then, you know what I'm saying? So it's a long story with my kids and teeth brushing. They just need to do it after they eat. And then they have to get dressed, and then they have to do their morning chores, like make their beds and stuff. So for us to have a 9 o'clock start time, eating breakfast at 8 o'clock, it is an absolute must. I cannot wake up late. I can't try, you know, to have breakfast on the table at 8:40 and expect everybody to be ready for school at 9 o'clock. It's not fair, you know? So I have to do my part. And that's another thing, like I go through the homeschool room, like right now everybody's kind of busy, but I think once everybody starts to settle down for the evening and they're 100% done with everything, then I will come back in the homeschool room. Like they did their part, they clean up. I just go and reorganize the little nitpicking things to make sure that everything is in its place. So that tomorrow morning they're gonna look at their board. They're gonna get every piece of material that they know that they use. If you use a folder, a notebook, and a book, they're gonna get it, stack it under their table. Whatever book that they're gonna be reading to me, get that as well. Like today we had a little mishap. Well, I don't want to call it a mishap, but like Elijah's computer needed to be charged up, and he had already made himself a spot on the floor, and then he had to plug the computer in an awkward spot. And of course I was like, Jerry, watch that cord, and Jerry did not watch the cord and he tripped. So well, he didn't get hurt, I promise. He was fine, but he could have got hurt. And so that's the scary part, is being a mom. So that's why it's like a part of that too, is make sure everybody's device is charged up. And I think that's something like, yeah, that should be your kid's responsibility, but I think you as mom, you might want to just double check if they're using headphones. And that's something that I drop the ball a lot on, is making sure those headphones are charged up, because my kids do not use them every day. And so then my kids are starting to use Hooked on Phonics, and everybody's doing it. Well, 2 of the kids are doing it, and it's so loud, and then it's 2 different things. It's like driving me crazy. Like, it's too much stimulation. So like tonight, I think Kelsey's computer is okay. I don't have to charge her computer up all the time, but Jerry's I do, because I use his computer as well. So I have to make sure his computer's charged up. Elijah did charge his up earlier after he was done with his computer. I said, go take it upstairs and go charge it. He prefers to keep his computer upstairs, which is totally fine with me. But I want to make sure it's charged so we don't have to deal with cords. And I hate dealing with cords with kids, especially when you have 3 kids and stuff is all over the place. So, you know, that's another thing to make everything easier for your day, run efficiently. Make sure those devices are charged up. Do they use an iPad? Charge it up. Do they use headphones that require charging? Charge them up now. Are your laptops charged up? Oh, and are your laptops updated? Because that's happened before. They can't, I mean, you can easily switch the day around, but like sometimes my kids, they're like the elderly. When they got their mind set up on something, it's like, but I wanted to do. And it's like, well, you can't, the computer's updating. So I periodically just go through, well, Jerry's is always updated because like I said, I'm always on it handling business and stuff. So his computer usually is updated, but Elijah and Kelsey, sometimes I don't know what's going on with theirs and if it needs an update. So that's something I have to be a lot more proactive on, because I would hate for tomorrow morning, Kelsey likes to do Type C first thing in the morning. Sometimes she does math, but a lot of times she wants to kind of ease into her day. Actually, all the kids are like that. If they already kind of wake up and it's like, oh, school, they want to ease into their day, they'll do something like Type C. Or I'll have Elijah do his, that noise. I'll have him do some math facts on the computer, but it needs an update. So that's just one less thing. And you know, those updates take a very long time. So that's just one less thing that you have to worry about. So just take these tips, you know, make sure that you're just staying on top of these things. Make things accessible for your kids. Make sure they put their things in the same spot every day. Make sure everybody has their own space. If you have community supplies and stuff, that's probably even better. You know, we use both. My kids have their own stuff and they want community supplies. And I used to have a little spot where there's like extra folders, extra notebooks, just whatever the kids needs, it's all right here. So we're not taking time scrambling for stuff like I did at my last house because some stuff was over there. Some stuff was in here, some stuff was in my bedroom, you know, because I just needed to make space. A lot of times you do have to do whatever you have to do, because I do know space can be an issue. I know some houses have funny little layouts, and you just have to make the best of what you can. But even if that's the case, if you do have a storage closet, you have to put things. Even if you do have to store some stuff in your bedroom, even if you do have to put some stuff in a coffee table, you know, underneath the coffee table, just make sure the kids know where that stuff is at. Make sure you're making it accessible to everyone. Make sure that it's neat and tidy, so your house doesn't have to look like a big homeschool explosion. Because in Japan, my house was like that. Like, the door was literally right there, and as soon as you walk in, it's homeschool. You know what I'm saying? Because there was no particular room for it. And that's okay, because if you look back at some of our older videos, I made the best of it. I made it nice and neat. Sometimes it did get a little bit out of hand, and that's when I was like, oh, no, let me tidy this up. So even in the tiniest of homeschool spaces, you can make it look a lot neater, and you'll see a big change in your kids' attitude about school for that day as well. So anyway, I hope this video can kind of help you guys, like if you need to kind of streamline your day and make it efficient. I'm not speaking on this so that you can have a 1.5, 2 hour day. That was not the point of this video. I mean, if you have those days, then that's totally fine. But I'm just saying, speaking on the point of this video is for when you have all of these extra minutes. If you're starting at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, there really isn't a reason for you to have school to 8 o'clock, because no kid is going to want to talk about anything that long. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, if your day is going a lot longer than what you expect it to be, you might need to streamline these small, simple things. Have their stuff together. Have it in order. You as the mom, you can start organizing things. Your kids can maintain it and keep it up, but you can go in and organize the way you feel that is best. And ask them, hey, where should we put this stuff? Where should we keep this kind of thing? You know, but they might have an idea like, well, I don't like having to go over there. Can we put it back here? You know, just hear them out, listen to what they have to say. You may see an improvement. So that's the whole goal, is for everybody to have a simplistic day. Everybody's having a good time, enjoying each other, and just having fun and making school more enjoyable, because you're already going to have little issues along the way. You know, your kids are going to wake up and be like, I don't want to do school today. Mine was like that this morning. The main one who wanted to flip our day around and do the fun stuff first and school later, I was like, no. Let's get this done. But this morning, I was organized to the T. Everything has been graded. Everything had been laid out. And then at the very end of the day, he was like, I'm glad that we went ahead and had school today. I'm like, I know. Now go have your fun. You deserve it. So just keep these little things in mind, and drop a comment down below and let me know, do you find yourself needing to streamline your day? Is it dragging on forever and you deep down feel like you didn't have to? If that's the case, just let me know, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.